Greetings! That's not the channel intro for this channel? Okay. Hello, friends. Long time no see. The last time I saw you was my 2024 reading wrap up for the year, where I sat here for over an hour and just went over every book that I read in the year and put it on a tier list. And I said I was going to come back for monthly book wrap ups. I did not do that. Instead, I am here for a quarterly reading wrap up. So I have next to me a giant stack of all the books I read in winter that I'm really worried about toppling over. And I'm a little bit late because I was tired. So I did not make this on time, but I'm making it now. And basically, yeah, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to tell you a little bit about all the books I read over the course of December, January, February. And I'm going to give them a review and a ranking out of 5 because I love books. I love reading. I fell in love with it last year and I cannot stop eating books, and I love to talk about it and share it. So that's what I'm doing today. Let me know your thoughts on any of these books, or your own favorite books. Give me recommendations. I'm on a book buying ban right now, but it's flexible, you know? I did read 22 books. Half of them are books that I did talk about in my in my 2024 wrap up because I reread favorites. And one of them I read twice in winter, but we'll get to that. I'm going to go through these in order of reading them, and I will just give a little bit of a talk. I did read my favorites though, so we'll see how long I'm gonna sit here and talk about it. First up is I read the Angels Trilogy. So this starts with Angels Before Man and Angels and Man, and then I reread them because at the start of December, Horns for Hell, which is a novella set in between the two books, came out. So I read Angels Before Man, then Horns for Hell came out, so I read that, and then I read Angels and Man, and I did talk about these in my last video, but I adore these books. These books are so good. I should be doing individual ranking for books in series because they all do get different rankings, but basically we have a queer retelling of Lucifer and the fall of Lucifer, and it's beautiful and I love it. I adore this book so much. It's so beautiful, and the commentary and the imagery is stunning. The portrayal of abuse is incredible and so painful, and it's just everything about it is spectacular. 5 stars. 5 out of 5 out of 5. 5 stars easy. Angels and Man, I prefer to Angels Before Man. This was my favorite book with the two. There is another one, a third one coming out on Christmas. Fucking phenomenal, as he should release it on Christmas, called Angels After Man, and I'm so excited for it. But basically, this is a queer retelling of The Watcher's Flood, and I'm just obsessed with this book. To know about these books, they kind of just get more and more painful and traumatizing as you go. They're I don't know what the genre is. They're horror, fantasy kind of vibes, but they're incredible. They're beautiful. This book is traumatizing. It just you think it's bad and then it keeps getting worse. So if you want to be in pain and cry, spectacular. 5 out of 5. And then Horns for Hell. Horns for Hell is a masterpiece. It's one of my favorite books ever. It's obviously very short. I read it in one sitting. It's about Rosier, who is one of the fallen angels, and it focuses on sexual trauma and healing and asexuality and just finding your place in the world and figuring yourself out. It's all about identity, and it's the best sort of asexual representation that I've ever seen. It's stunning. It's beautiful. It ripped my heart out. It's phenomenal. It's everything to me. It hits so hard and is just so incredibly well written with such a beautiful, beautiful story. It's not a happy story. None of these stories display any healthy relationships at all. You don't go into these with an idea of romance or anything in your head. They all hurt and they're all terrible, but they're all so fucking stunning. I've given the other 2 5s, but this is the highest 5 I can get. I love this book so much. I'm gonna reread it soon. But yeah, if you do want to read these, which I literally cannot recommend them enough, please do check out the trigger warnings because they have a lot of trigger warnings. They cover some very heavy topics. They're stunning. They're my top 3 favorite series ever. And I'm talking about all 3 of them today because I reread them all. So December started really fucking strong. Next up, I read the Ellis Chronicles. I only read the first 2. I bought the 3rd one, but like I haven't read it yet because the first one was pretty good. I talked about it, I think, actually in my year wrap up. The first one I thought was pretty good. I kind of enjoyed it. I quite enjoyed it, but I wouldn't like recommend it. The second one, I was so disappointed in this book. Like, I was so disappointed in this book. I barely remember what happened. It pissed me off because there's no chapters. There's not even any, like, breaks. There's no chapter breaks, no chapters, nothing. And that pissed me off. I like chapters because I like seeing how far I have to go before I can put it down. If I don't have chapters, I don't have motivation to read, you know? Me, that's a personal thing. But nothing happened. It was so anticlimactic. So anticlimactic. I was really disappointed in this book. And I have 2 other books by this author because I accidentally bought one thinking it was this book. And then after enjoying this book, I bought her like most recommended book, which is a Peter Pan retelling, which I'll get to eventually, I guess. But like, because I enjoyed this one, but like, it's not worth it. I'm going to give The Red Queen by, I didn't even say, those first books are the Angels Trilogy by Raphael Nicholas. The Red Queen by Christina Henry, like a 2.5, maybe. It was boring. Nothing happened. So yeah, I literally can't even tell you what happened, but because it was not much. Next, I read The Picture of Dorian Gray. This book took me a really long time to read. This is the first classic I've ever read, the only one I've ever read. And I started reading it at the start of December, and then I read all those books while reading this in the background. And then I read the last 100 pages in a day, which is like half the book. And it's a good book. I did enjoy it. It's a classic, right? Like it was a good book. I enjoyed it. It was hard to read just because I've never read classics before, right? And obviously they are harder to read because like language has changed, the way we tell stories have changed. Like old stories used to be a bit more just like life, you know what I mean? They are just more slice of lifey, and I enjoyed it. I would recommend reading it if you're like into classics. I might read another classic at some point, but like I'm glad I read it. Potentially one I will reread one day as well, because I feel like I should read it all in like one go too. I will give it a 4 out of 5, I think. The first book I read of 2025 was We Are Okay. It's quite a short book. I read it in one sitting again. It took me like, I don't know, I started at like 6 a.m. I finished at midday-ish. It's quite a lovely book. It's about this girl who is going through loss. Her only family member died, and she couldn't deal with it, so she ran away. And it meant she cut off like all of her friends and everything, and then her friend comes to visit her after like her dropping off the face of the earth for months, and it's just them like reforming their bond a little bit and like talking about things. And she finds out things about her granddad, who's the family member that died, that she wasn't ready to be confronted with. When he died, there was like a whole bunch of secrets that came out. Like it was just a really difficult, hard time. And it was all about processing grief and friendship and loss and love. It's also queer. Yeah, it's a beautiful story. It made me cry a lot. It's an easy read. I think it's young adult. Yeah, if you're looking for a book about like grief and loss and friendship, then I do recommend this one for you. It was very beautiful. I will give it 4 stars as well because I did have a good time. One thing about me and rating books is everything always ends up with a 4. I don't know how it happens, but it does. So the next thing I read was Good Omens. Now I cannot promote Good Omens because obviously Neil Gaiman is a terrible person, like a terrible, horrible person. I did buy this book before. I knew that. So, I read this. I hadn't watched the show, before I read it either. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was nice and whimsical, you know. I had a good time reading it. It's such a stupid story. You know what I mean? Like, it's so silly. Like, it's the apocalypse. It's an 11-year-old boy being the fucking Antichrist. Like, the end of the world is happening, and angels and demons and the 4 motorbike men of the apocalypse. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a silly, fun, goofy story. I did watch the show afterwards, and it's so funny because I feel like these days a lot of people will read the book after watching the show, and I personally found I preferred the book to the first season of the show. It followed it pretty much exactly, but I think the way it goes is that you always prefer what you do first, and I enjoyed the book more than the show. But the second season of the show was really good, and I didn't have a book to compare it to. So, you know, I think I'll give it, again, a 4. But if you're going to read it, get it secondhand or borrow it from a friend or a library. After that, because I had read that book, I bought a Terry Pratchett book. I got Mort because my mom and my dad, their favorite author is Terry Pratchett. They have literally the entire Discworld series. Like, growing up, they were like the only books we had in our house, and I've never read them before. And so I was asking mom for recommendations because when I went into Waterstones, they had a whole section for Terry Pratchett, and all of his books have been turned into these really nice hardcovers. I bought a different one, but my mom told me that her favorite Discworld character is Death, and I should read the Death books. So I went and I got Mort because I thought this is the first Death book in the Discworld, and I thought that would be a good place to start because it would introduce me to the characters. And it was good. It was a good book. It took me longer to read than I was anticipating because it's like very whimsical. There's like, my mom loves these because my mom likes low stakes to no stakes books. Whenever I read like a cozy book, I recommend it to my mother. Like, she's a cozy book person. This is like no stakes, which I enjoy. I do enjoy doing those, especially if I'm like in between more intense reads. I find that this is like a really good book to read between series. You know what I mean? Like as a palate cleanser. So I really thought it was a good thing to read before I started in my next ones. I will give it like a 3.5, I think. It's cute. It's a boy who is like looking for a job, and he gets hired as Death's apprentice, but then he like saves a princess, and like it kind of fucks shit up because he's just like messed with time and death, and then like the world is ending. Like it's a whole thing, and it was really good. I had a really good time reading it, and I do recommend it. I am excited to read more of his books because, as I said, I think they're a great thing to read in between other books, and I had fun. He's a cute author. It was a fun time. I understand why he's my parents' favorite author. Like I read it, I was reading this book and I was like, yeah, this makes sense as to why this is my parents' favorite author. Like I can hear it in their voices. I can tell that my parents read a lot of Terry Pratchett because of the way they tell stories, you know? Like if I was having a story told to me by my parents, it would be this book. So that's how I'm going to best describe it. We're into series now. So the next thing I read, the Green Creek series. Now, again, I talked about this already in my yearly wrap up video, but I read them again. This does have a 4th book, but it's not out in paperback yet, which is so annoying. But I'll go through them one by one, which I didn't do last time because I had like 86 books to get through. So this series is made up of 4 books. They're written by TJ Klune, and TJ Klune is known for like his like whimsical fantasy books like Under the Whispering Door and The House by the Cerulean Sea, both of which I've read, both of which are 2 of my mom's favorite books. But then he's done these, which are so different. Like, my mom tried reading one of these because she saw it was by him and like absolutely hated it. I was like, yeah, these are not for you. I almost didn't read them because I'm not like a werewolf person, but I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a crack because people I follow on Twitter read them. So they're not that popular, and you know, I get it. But this is one of my favorite series. My 3 favorite series are All for the Game, Angels, and unfortunately, these fucking gay werewolf books, all right? I'm obsessed with them. I will be doing another read this year. When the 4th one comes out in paperback, I'm starting them again. They're like 550 pages each, kind of vibe. My favorite thing about them is that each one focuses on a different character and a different couple. So I'll go through a little bit. The first one is hard to read, okay? It's hard to get through. Like, it is stunning. It is beautiful. I love the story. I love the found family. I love the emotion. I love how it's told. Like, you start this book and you want to cry immediately. Like, I was tearing up for so much of this book. Unfortunately, there's a horrible age gap that makes me so uncomfortable, and I have to pre-warn you about it before you read it because I need you to know that if you read these books, I do not endorse that. Like, I highly recommend these books and I adore them and I love them and I want more people to read them, but like, I need you to know that I am not okay with the age gap in this book, all right? I need you to know that before you go into it. It makes me uncomfortable. Every time they're together, it makes me uncomfortable. The main characters are 16 and 10. And then they're like best friends, and then they get together when he's 17 and 23. And now, listen. No. No. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Then he goes away for 3 years. This isn't even a spoiler. It says it on the back. He goes away for 3 years and then comes back. And now he's 20 and 26. Which is fine. That's so much better. But like, surely you could have waited. Surely you could have waited until after he went away before you got together? You know? Like, surely you could have waited. But anyway, I just need you to know that, like, I don't support that. I don't like it. And if you read it, it's a bit uncomfortable to get through all those scenes, but once you make it through, it's so worth it. The story is beautiful. Like, the found family vibes in these books, like, make me so happy. Like, I love found family. I love trauma. I love gay. It has all of those things, so therefore it makes it one of my favorite books ever. So the first one I give a 4 because I love everything about it except for the age gap, and unfortunately that's like a major part of the book, so she loses a star. The second one, however, is Ravensong, and this focuses on 2 different characters. It focuses on Gordo and Mark, and oh, I love them. I love them. I love them. One of them is a witch. One of them is a werewolf. And the way that these books are written, I am fucking obsessed with, because it does like past and present, and it like interweaves them, so it tells a story from the past that relates to the present. And I love when writing does that. Like, it is one of my favorite writing styles ever. I fucking love it. Like, weaving the past and the present together. Ooh, give it to me. And all these books do it. It like, oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And this story is a lot of trauma, a lot of healing. It's like a bit angsty. It's a bit of like, there like needs to be forgiveness. There's like a lot of hard emotions. There's a lot of stubbornness. There's a lot of pining. It's so good. And obviously it's very werewolfy as well. There's a big focus on like omega werewolves in this book. But ultimately, this is my second favorite in the series, and I give it a 5 because I fucking love this book. I adore this book. I'm so excited. Like, once I finished reading these, I wanted to read them again. Like, I fucking love this book. The third book in the series is Heart Song, and this focuses on a different wolf and their pair. And I can't get into this one because it's like more spoilery, but basically it's brilliant. It's beautiful. I love this book. I love it because like in this book, nothing really happens. There's like the beginning and the end, and then there's a lot of nothing in the middle, but in like the best way, you know? Like I said, like I love fluff. I love just living life. I love that sort of shit, especially when it's with characters that I love. And there's just a lot of character. There's a lot of found family. There's a lot of just like learning each other and getting to know each other and like love, and I love that about this book. This one I gave a 4.5. And then the final book I do not have the physical love, obviously, as I said, is Brother Song, and that is my favorite. It's one of my favorite books ever. I fucking love that book so much. The chemistry between the 2 characters, it makes me want to die. Like I love them. I love them. I don't think you get it. Like, I love them. I love their chemistry. I love everything. Like, that book, no book has made me laugh and cry as much as Brother Song has. You can ask Kat, because I was reading on the couch while she was in here, how often I would just start laughing, and then, like, how often I would just be crying. Like, it gets you really hard in every emotion, and I adore it. And I give it a 5, like a high 5, because it's my soul. After this, I read the Last Binding trilogy, which my partner got me for my birthday because it's one of their favorite series. And now it is also one of mine. I really fucking love this series. It's like, again, each book is a different pairing. And listen, I fucking love that. And also it's third person changing POV. And that is my favorite thing ever. Oh my God. I love stories that are third person, and I love when you bounce between characters. It's like one of my favorite things ever. Like, I adore it. It's one of my favorite writing styles, so they tick that box, which I fucking love. But it's like Edwardian gay magic. Like, I don't know what else you want, you know? This first one is stunning. It's beautiful. I love it. It's 2 men who fall in love. I love it. It's so sweet. It's so cute, and it had me like smiling so much. The second one is Sapphic, which is great. I do not read enough Sapphic books. Please, if you have Sapphic recommendations, let me know. I am usually a fantasy girly, but I'm like, my favorite book series is not fantasy. They're contemporary. So like, literally just give me anything. Recommend me some Sapphic shit. I have some on my bookshelf, but I'm like keen for more recommendations. But this is Edwardian magic and set on a fucking boat. And like, they're on like a cruise ship. It's a mystery too. They're trying to find a killer. Gay women on a boat trying to hunt down a killer. Like, what more could you fucking want? You know? Like, it's everything, really, is what I'm trying to get at. So I give this a 4.5. I give this also a 4.5, I think. And then the last one, A Power Unbound. Oh, I forgot to say, these are by Freya Marske, by the way. I keep forgetting to say the author. The last one is my favorite. I give this one a 5 because it's all of them. It's all of them. The couple from the first book, the couple in the middle, and then the new couple. They're all together. And that makes me so happy. It makes me so happy. I love to see it. It's like such big found family vibes. And what did I just say about fan family? You give me gay found family and like you have gained a fan. Like, I will read it. I will love it. I will worship it. This is on my reread list now. Like, I have reread books that I will reread. Green Creek, Angels, All for the Game, which is coming up next. Don't you worry. And now these. Like, they've made it. Welcome. These ones do have a bit of smut in them too. Actually, so do the Green Creek books. All the Green Creek books, each book has one smut scene, which I think is fucking hilarious. These ones have a few more than that. As a warning, if you're going into it and you aren't expecting it, there is a little bit of smut in these. I'm excited to reread them later. And then next up, finally, the moment we have all been waiting for is I reread All for the Game and The Sunshine Court for the 5th time. I've got these guys sitting behind me here, Neil and Andrew, helping me out for all my videos. So the reason I reread these is because the new one came out. The new one came out 2 weeks ago as of filming this video. So obviously I needed to reread all of them in preparation, even though it's kind of separate. It's a spin-off series that goes with The Sunshine Court. So technically I did not need to read these again, but like, yes, I did. Obviously I had to. Individually, like, you know I'm giving all of these a 5. Like, easiest decision of my life. High fives too. I don't really know how to explain these books. I tried in my video from last month, I think, but like, it's basically a university sports team for a made-up sport called XC that is made up of teenagers, like young adults who have had hard lives. It's kids who deserve a second chance, who are not going to get given a second chance, and they make up a team. There is the mafia involved, for the Yakuza more specifically. There are characters who have been through, like, they grew up in a cult and are like escaping a cult and like years of abuse. The main character is running away from his serial killer father. It's like a lot, you know? There's a lot of shit that happens, and it's a lot about trauma and like found family and pain and like growth. And it's just so good. It's so fucking good. And there is so much conversation around like boundaries and consent, and like, it's some of the best like chemistry I've seen between characters. It's like my favorite couple of all time. Like, it's beautiful. And the main character is demisexual, which is like great representation. Obviously we don't get that very often. And like, overall it's just beautiful. It's stunning. It's brilliant. I fucking love it. Obviously I read it 5 times. It's currently the anniversary of when I first read them. So I've read them 5 times in the past year. I have tattoos for it. I'm planning another one. Like, 10 out of 10. 6 out of 5. If I'm rating these out of 5 stars, 6 out of 5. Like, I fucking love them. I like cannot put words into it. I've created a whole Twitter account for it. I've put in like hundreds of hours of like AO3 reading time. Like, I am obsessed beyond words. And then we move into a spin-off series, which is The Sunshine Court. This cover art is this is not the actual cover. This is the actual cover. This cover art is done by LL Starcaster, LL. The Sunshine Court, oh my god, I fucking love it. The new one is the second story in this series called The Golden Raven. Came out 2 weeks ago. I've read it twice now. I don't know. how to put into words how much I fucking love these books. The third one is coming out, we don't know when yet, but like these books are about very, very minor characters from the original trilogy, but 10 years later. Like they're set in the same time, but they were written 10 years later. And basically the main character has been horrifically abused his entire life. And to quote Nora Sukovic, the author, in every other universe, he killed himself, except this one. This is the only version of reality in which he chooses to live. Gut me. These are duo pov as well. So it's from Jean, he's the main character, and Jeremy, who's the other main character. It switches between them and it's all about like, it's just healing. It's healing. These are very, very like character strong. Like it's about coming out of years of like horrific abuse where you are not even viewed as a person and trying to figure out how to live life. It's figuring out like what life is and finding yourself and like learning how to love and how to be loved. It's like coming out of a place so aggressive while you yourself are so gentle and learning how to view that as like a strength. And it's everything to me. This is the one I'm planning a tattoo for, the Golden Raven, the new one. I read it and immediately was like, I know exactly what tattoo I'm fucking getting. And now I've just got to find an artist and I will make it happen. Again, 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10? God, no. 6 out of 5. 11 out of 10. Like, fucking the most beautiful books ever. I know I talked I've talked the longest about, like, the Green Creek series, but that's just because if I get started on these, I will not stop. And I don't want to spoil them because I do want people to read them. They are not for everyone. Right, like I can recommend them really hard because I think that the people who watch my videos are the type of people who will enjoy these. But like, if you don't like them, don't tell me because I will get upset. Like I genuinely like cannot express how much I adore these books, how much of my brain is like consumed by just thoughts of these books. They are everything. They're everything. So that was my winter reads. I don't know if I did this video very well. I'm not a reviewer. I'm not a sit down and talk about things. I just wanted to talk about my books. And then if you've read any, please let me know your thoughts and I would love to have conversations with you. Currently, my reading is I finished The Golden Raven the second time about a week ago, and then I took the week to just read a bunch of fics on AO3, and now I'm starting The Hunger Games. I've just started The Hunger Games yesterday because the new one comes out in a couple weeks, so I wanted to reread the 4 of them before I go into that. At the end of spring, maybe I will do another one of these and let you know all the books that I've read over spring. I have a bit of a lineup right now, so we'll see how much of that I get through and what I end up reading. I hope you enjoyed this. Please let me know what you think about these book videos. I enjoy sitting down and talking about them, and I would love to talk about them with you. Let me know if there's any other formats you want to see for this. I don't watch book videos. I don't know what. I'm a booktuber, but I've never watched a video from a booktuber. So like, I actually don't know what that means, what that looks like, or what I'm supposed to do. So I just sit down and I ramble. Let me know what you want to see. If you want to see me ramble about any specific book and just do a sit down and talk and like give spoilers and whatever, let me know. Maybe I'll do it. Yeah, please offer me recommendations or anything. Let me know any other general thing you want to see from me on this channel because I would like to use it more than the like once every several months upload. But yeah, I just wanted to sit down and share my books with you. I will see you hopefully before the end of spring, but if not, I'll see you for my spring reading. In like what, May? All right, well, thank you for coming along. I hope that you enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like, comment your thoughts on my books or your books or literally anything. I would love to hear your thoughts. I love talking about this shit. Don't forget to subscribe. I will try to be back here more regularly. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Yeah, I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.